recording again. Okay. So anyhow, if everybody could just make sure that you're signed up, then we could start using the Google Groups, and that would be fantastic. Please.
And you put the link in the notes, right?
Yeah, for the Google Group email. So that's the link to it. It should show everybody who's listed. Um, there, I had to go down. Once you click on that, it shows on the left-hand side people and then members and then pending members. Um, so it should show.
Well, I
Um,
don't know if that's
is
if
that not for everybody?
we're admins, yeah. So I'm not
Oh,
actually quite sure
okay.
what happens if you're not an admin.
Okay.
If it looks like you can subscribe or
Okay. Um, I just didn't want to call anybody out and be like, hey. Um, but there were a couple people who hadn't signed up for the Google groups. So if you could, check into that, that would be awesome and make sure that you're on there.
oh, here I don't know what happened. Oh, well, let me put this in a private browser and see what happens.
Oh yeah, try it in a
Oh, that's a great idea. Thanks,
Oh
Ian.
no, it says content unavailable. Okay, we may have to figure out how to like
yeah, so you
let
should
people sign up.
Hmm.
feel like I did this for something else. Do you just set it up as like people can register themselves?
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, anyone on the web can ask or anyone on the web can join.
Um, oh, that's up to you. Do they need our permission? Or
I don't think so.
yeah, I don't think so. Like anybody can just join. People can just add themselves. The only reason that ever becomes an issue is if like weird AI bots and strange things start getting dumped in.
Okay,
Mm.
if you've clicked on the link before, refresh the page or try again and let's see if whatever I did fixed it.
Annie,
Emily,
um,
that is
I,
correct.
st I still receive content unavailable.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Who can okay. Who could see the group? Anyone on the web?
I had to make sure I was signed in with the right account. I don't know if other people have multiple accounts, but
Well, we may have to send a link
Yeah,
out
well,
in the thing. We'll figure it out.
yeah. I just did this for a Google group for my students and I've already forgotten how I did it. Oh, apparently there's a link you can request it through. I think you just figured it out. Maybe it just needed to be refreshed or cookies or something. Um, all right. Anyway, we'll fiddle with this after the meeting and send it in the meeting notes to make sure everybody has it, and then hopefully we can um, make it work better going forward. All right.
Bless you.
Thank you. Um, so
Yeah, we'll get it figured out and make sure everybody's on there. If you don't see your name um, or get an invite, let us know because we want to make sure everybody's on there.
um, all right. And then I think our next order of business was to go over the feedback form, right?
Yep, let's do it.
Wait. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so at the last meeting, we were, hide, there you go. We were talking about how to decide which of the properties in sort of this spreadsheet of fields that was supplied by Anne and OCLC, which of them we want to start thinking about as being required, not by just the system, but by standards that we might create. And I think it seemed like doing it in the spreadsheet, providing that feedback was not going to be as easy as potentially creating a form, and then everybody can kind of just go through and provide feedback whenever they have time without having to worry about, you know, how to do it in a spreadsheet. So we've got now this guy, which the link is in the meeting notes as well. So basically what happened here is some little instructions here that we worked on, and you all of the forms are, all of the fields are listed in this form with the opportunity to just go in and put any of your comments about the fields. And then for the ones that we're talking about, whether they're required if something else exists, it's got a dependency and we prefer it, but it's not required. The one thing I want to sort of talk about here is whether or not these descriptions make sense to everybody. Are there edits I should make to this form? Are there thoughts you guys have at this point about providing feedback in this manner? And yeah, so maybe just give everybody a second to take a look at it and then we can discuss.
I just want to know if you had to create this by hand or if you were able to import.
So Gemini helped me.
Ah, good.
Could you send the link? Um,
Oh, I put
uh,
it in the chat. Okay, so anybody have any thoughts, questions, comments, suggestions? everybody just filling it out right now? Is that what's
For me, it worked fine. I didn't have any, I thought it was fine. It was good.
awesome?
And I think folks should be able to like click on the link and add more. Or you can, submit it multiple times if you don't get through the whole thing, which it is, might not.
And we sent out the email, right, Misty?
Yes. And it's not actually due, so people still have time. We were going to go over everything before the meeting next month, but like you said, we just wanted to make sure everybody had questions answered.
Any? Yeah, I think we were hoping for to give everybody about 4 weeks from now to look at it. And then we'll probably send out some reminders and then go over the responses as a group.
Right. The next meeting, the one for March is the 23rd. So we were just hoping everybody could have it completed before that so we could discuss.
Okay, cool. Sounds like everybody's feeling good about it.
Yeah, I think this will be good. People can ponder, take your time, not have to do things on the spot. So I think this will be good.
Um, and I know we sent the email out just to this group. Um, do we want to keep it just in this group, or if people, I mean, like, is this like top secret?
I don't think it's top secret, but I think since this group has like, you know, expressed slash kind of committed to the interest in this world, I think it probably makes sense to have it be this group slash, I don't know, someone at your university that is also interested. But
Okay.
kind of, I think if it's more, here's what I think in theory, and they're kind of not joining, I guess I would trend towards this group primarily, and then, if someone has a particular interest. But that's my thought.
I mean, that's easier for me because I just made the permission anyone with link.
Cool.
So, if someone does share it with somebody in their institution, that person will be able to access it.
Okay, cool.
I didn't lock it down, but um, if we
I think
wanted it
that's
to be
good.
top secret, I could lock it down.
Feel free to, if somebody has strong feelings about secrecy,
Have
operating in the shadows.
I have a question for Anne.
Mhm.
Where would we enter the URL of the organization? Where would that be? Uh, you have a name, preferred label, alternative label. Uh, what about the website that present the URL of the company name or corporate name?
Oh, so like references.
Uh, you, oh, yeah, in Wikidata, it's references. Yeah, Wikidata. Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit, which is that um, this is just the top level of the field and not like which basic fields, but not the what do you call them? The dependencies in each field or the options. in each field lower down. I'm not using good words to describe this
You want me
based on Anne's face.
to tell me more
Yeah, like IBM,
or
like IBM, it has an official website. And do we record that official website in the reference? Like in Wikidata, we can say, I see IBM, name uh, of IBM on this website. I can say references, but in Meridian, where do you record that URL where you see that name for um, for the company?
yeah, so let me see. For the labels that appear in the key information section,
Uh-huh.
those don't have a reference link, um, which is something that if folks have feedback on, that can be part of, this group's feedback and recommendations. But let me check one other spot that I know we have for people, but maybe not organizations. Um, let's look here. No, I don't have. Well, I know we don't have an official website property. So we don't have an official website property. And the name, the label for a given entity, um, let me share my screen if I'm allowed. Oh no. Is this gonna let me do it? Oh, it is. Okay. Sorry, I got the Apple pop-up that's like super secure.
We're all very distracted by our computers today.
Okay.
They keep talking to us.
So like in a person entity, there's like a names section. And for a particular name, like you could give a reference. But when you
Oh,
go to an organization, there are not currently references for these labels. And we do not have an equivalent kind of section for like official name where you could put a reference. So that's the current state of affairs. And if the group has like a recommendation about like we'd like an official website because X, Y, and Z, or we'd like to have a way to record, you know, the name, a reference for a given form of name. I think that has come up in a couple other contexts too. Then I think that would be helpful feedback.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so a great kind of thing to put in to this form as you're filling it out for each property. We did not, for the sake of making this form not horrifically long, we didn't put in the options that you see for each property, but definitely if you have thoughts about it, put it in there. Like, this one needs a reference, this one needs certain format of date, this one needs that kind of definitely put that in the comments, but we didn't spell it all out because it would have made the form extremely long.
Yeah, we're hoping that like the comments can be, like you said, where it is, because otherwise we would have all kinds of multiple choice and radio buttons and things that we were hoping to just better than a spreadsheet with comments, but uh, not as granular as probably a very comprehensive survey could be.
Yeah. But we can always, if there are certain field properties that, have a lot of options within them, I feel like dates is one that always comes up. We can always do feedback forms on those later that get more into the details of a specific field. Any other thoughts, questions, comments about this exercise? Going one, going twice. Sold. All right. I think the next thing in the agenda was just some updates about calendar things.
I saw an update maybe from Misty around the works linking to a person's maybe working. I got a feedback from someone that maybe it wasn't working still.
Is it still not working?
It looked like when they were trying to add a work from a person, something was not happening correctly. So I'm still following up to get steps to reproduce and things like that.
Okay.
This is what I was doing.
But following up from Anne, not that you can't say it yourself, I had checked with her after our last meeting, and it is supposed to work as long as the book is in there already. Anne had said that it should link. So this is something that Anne was telling us it does typically work. So that is good to know.
The works.
Yes, the works. I
Can
love
you
it.
clarify for me? Are you saying you would create an entity in Meridian for any work in order to link to it?
Basically, yes, if you are creating an entity for, say, a person and the work, say, like I found a thesis when I was creating an entity for a person, and that just happened to pop up when I was creating it, and I tried to link to it and it didn't work. So I was like, oh, it's broken. I can't do that. And I clarified it with Anne, and it should work. We are supposed to be able to do it as long as it's already in the system. And Anne, feel free to say more.
Yep, that's right. And right now, it has to be done with like again, the works that are currently in the system. We're not adding more works at this time because we're doing a broader effort with the bib framification of various things. So if a work doesn't exist in WorldCat entities, you won't be able to create it through Meridian. If it's a must-have for something that you'd like to experiment with, like I can create it. But right now, that's the state of affairs as um, we plan to, based on a lot of great feedback that we've gotten from folks around works and their application in 758 fields, there's some work that has to get done around just ensuring, more quality.
Differentiation.
Yeah, exactly. Differentiation and things like that. So I've have been and probably will say this for months to come because it's a data intensive, it's a process. So that's the latest.
Kate, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Paul.
Kate, you and I were working on a record and we were trying to link a work, and I don't remember what happened. Do you remember? And if not, let's just drop it for now. Talk about it later.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
I think I believe it wasn't there, and we weren't able to find it in the Meridian database, so we were planning to ask about it today, but I guess that answers the question. So it is the eventual plan, because a number of the people that were creating our records for our Meridian records entities for are authors of our internal publications. So eventually, like, we'd really like to link those people's Meridian records to the permanent identifiers, or I guess maybe the BibFrame records when we finish that other project, for our in-house publications. Do you, I guess, would that be possible once the efforts that you guys are working with to get, or whatever is happening with BibFrame, is that maybe something to be able to link to existing records in other schemas? Like, would that eventually be possible?
So are these things that would or would not end up in WorldCat?
I mean,
There
most
are
of
in
them, they
WorldCat.
already are.
They
Yeah.
are. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
we send them to OCLC as well as other places. So yeah.
yeah. So in the future, there's going to be really tight coupling between, or like tighter coupling between WorldCat and entities. So as data is modified in through a MARC lens in Record Manager Connection, or through kind of a BibFrame lens in the BibFrame Editor Zenith application, if there are changes that would impact a work, like creating a work, or um, adding a subject heading, or I don't know, adding a contributor or something, those will flow into Meridian/WorldCat entities data.
Okay.
So that's the eventual flow of things. And one of the reasons that we essentially kind of limit the ability to create works in Meridian, because we don't really want that to become a place necessarily that, let's pretend that synced back to WorldCat. Now we have another stream of adding data into WorldCat, and that's kind of not the mechanism that we want the primary mechanism for, like, creating
Works.
bibliographic data. Yeah, and works. So that's kind of how things have evolved. So in as we do kind of reassess clustering and get the work and instance relationships, I don't know, I can't think of the word, but proliferated throughout WorldCat, we should, and updated too, updated data, because this is still works from, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So it will be updated as well. So there's a few things that we're doing before we kind of turn on various updating mechanisms, but that in the future workflow, once everything's talking to each other, is, hey, I've created something or synced data to WorldCat in some way. I have a work immediately, or the changes that I have synced will be reflected in the WorldCat entity work. So that was a little probably long-winded and detailed, as is my way, but does that
No,
help in any
that's
way?
helpful. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And encouraging. So
okay,
great.
yeah.
Just to throw this out there, just from purely from the publisher end of things,
Yeah,
just because I'm curious, and maybe I'm just throwing a dart at the board way ahead of time, so maybe put it on
please
the map.
throw
But
the darts.
is there any plans ever to also maybe connect Meridian to, say, like a place like like a database like Crossref, to link directly to DOIs to works, because that is really the version of record for the metadata for, and then everything we have kind of comes from there. Even what we have in our system is really is an echo of what's in Crossref. So is, like, I just wondered, is there any chance, because that, I mean, that might be a great thing to think about for the future, both for works and for writing for entities, for folks and organizations and such.
Yeah, that's very cool. Oh, go
Can
ahead,
I
Jill.
can I winnow that down to on the roadmap for entities and for BibFrame, what data sources are OCLC looking at for the future?
Mm.
As kind of a, because Crossref is a great one, obviously, but the whole thing with linked data is what other linked data systems can you communicate with, right?
So is the idea that in our imagination, is the idea that data from Crossref would create works, or that a work would have a DOI that could then have it have a better relationship with
I don't
Crossref,
know.
or
I mean,
neither, or both?
both would be pretty neat. I mean, it would be really neat to be able to like actually create the work along with the DIY. That would be pretty cool. Just um, or I mean, maybe I don't know if that would be in OCLC, not in Meridian, but part of what gets sent to, yeah, so I don't know, maybe adding the DOI related DOIs the to the Meridian entity in the same way that OCLC works are eventually associated, or WorldCat works are eventually associated. I don't know. I mean, either would be neat, but
I think I think it's helpful at this stage of sort of linked data and what are we doing in each system, to think about different entity systems and what makes them unique. Like what would you put in OCLC Meridian most easily that maybe you wouldn't be able to put in Crossref? Because in the greater scheme of when these things work better, um, and the big challenge right now to interoperability is uh, it's standard references. So URIs essentially. The more URIs you can put in the identifiers section of any Meridian record, and the more you can put in any Wikidata record, and the more you can, including, things from Crossref, the more interoperable these pieces of information are. Um, I can only assume that automated harvesting should be on the roadmap from any variety of other identifier systems. Um, but I think it's a great question for OCLC is what is on the roadmap in that regard.
yeah, sure. No, I'm sorry. Again, like I said, I was just kind of throwing a dart at the dartboard of just like it, it might be neat. But I mean, yeah, maybe Orchid is sufficient and fills that need. I don't know. But
Um,
or other
no, it
places
would be
should do
good
as
to
well.
have, I mean, it's a question of adding it yourself versus automating, right?
But well, yeah, that was I mean, yeah. It was-
Because you can always add any URIs yourself in identifiers, um, if you have them. But obviously, like, it gets extremely cumbersome for the manual user to go in and be like, oh my gosh, how many identifiers do I need to add? There are so many
Oh yes.
identity systems.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's
Um, so it is a great question for all of these services, whether it's, people working in Wikidata or people working in Meridian or, um, I mean, I can't wait until Library of Congress gives their next webinar on what they've been doing in their linked data service. Um, and then, I'm in an Ex Libris environment. So, what are they pulling data in for their own little indexing of their linked data service? So I do feel like a lot of this is like how much manual effort do we have to put in to make this stuff work versus what are the plans of all of these system managers to kind of cross harvest from each other and what can they automate.
Sure. Yeah, no, thanks.
I think that's the only sustainable option is they have to be doing it, not us.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, but I also think at this stage, because they're, most of these groups are still trying to figure out what they can automate, our manual work becomes the training set, right? And then hopefully they can all automate later. So I suppose the moral was that is Anne, if can you see if OCLC has looked at Crossref?
That is what I'm going to do. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see, I'm just gonna ask
Yeah.
like what conversations are being had, and then I'm curious, like maybe to follow up more about like an imaginary sort of use case, workflow, dream world, and maybe it's something that makes sense in this space. Maybe, like you said, Jill, it makes sense in another place. And then I'm sorry, I was taking notes on a piece of paper and I wasn't typing them in the notes doc. So,
I don't know that anybody needs the notes on my chatter there. It's my
oh, but we have an AI in here.
Is
We
it turned
have
on? Is it
Faisal
taking
the
meeting
Firefly.
notes?
Well, in theory. Oh no,
Oh,
Faisal
I don't think the
invited.
AI companion is on.
I don't know, in the beginning it said this AI was here to record and take notes. View real-time notes here. Let's see if it did anything.
Anyway, this is the world we live in.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought Misty might
I
pop
didn't,
in because this is your
I didn't click
Zoom.
to, yeah, I didn't click to start it, but I just did after you said something.
Okay.
I wasn't so thrilled when the three of us had a meeting and it tried to summarize. So I wasn't, jumping at the gun to do it for this one, but we'll see. Go ahead. I clicked, so.
But we'll figure it out. Okay.
Does anybody, since we're on the topic, does anybody else have other identifier management systems that they want to ask OCLC if they're looking into?
Yeah, I at the National Agriculture Library, we record funder DOI. So the funder DOI. So for the organization name, that's a funding institution. Crossref assign DOI to that institution, and we record that funder DOI. So our citations link to Crossref from the registry.
Yeah, this becomes very specifically like person entity based for, I think, OCLC, because in OCLC, all the works are going to be, are not generally going to be articles and
Yeah, yeah,
Crossref and DOI. But it would be great if OCLC had it on their roadmap specifically for person
yeah,
entities and
yeah,
corporate,
because
pull those
it's
in.
supposed to
Yeah.
be a world ontology.
Yeah. Yep.
OCLC ontology is supposed to cover all the bibliographic universe.
Yep.
For us, citations and books are in one repository. We capture the author, the ORCID ID in for the author, and we capture the publication DOI, the journal article DOI, and we also capture the funding agency DOI. Yeah. So from the publication perspective as well as organization perspective were linked to Crossref.
Yeah, so in fact, this could actually be a big value add for the person entities in OCLC, because being able to grab article level data or article level references from something like ORCID and or Crossref and pull that into person entities for all their articles, because you don't really have article level data, or at least you really shouldn't have it article level data in OCLC records. Pulling that in for a full, summary would be really helpful, and from a
For
different data
us,
set.
it's a cost concerns, because before we maintain two separate instances, one for citation of the database, two separate database, one for citation, one for books, journals, CDs, and then we have to hire extra developers. So we consolidate the two repository into one for cost savings. And the government shutdown, the government, funding cut, that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where, as people create entities for persons based or corporations based on a work or instance record in OCLC, putting in a article level identifier when that exists, whether that's ORCID or Crossref ID or a Wikidata identifier, will be helpful later on, because I'm sure one of the big lifts for OCLC, if they want to pull in Crossref data, will be matching people's names. And that becomes an incredibly difficult prospect for programmers, especially given that a lot of the article level stuff is just first initial, last name, and lots of people have the same last name. That's where identifiers and having entities with identifiers from other systems reference. I feel like I'm like cross references, but then that's why they call it Crossref.
Yeah, and we also record raw ID for
Okay.
organized raw ID, ROR, raw ID.
Okay. Does that kind of make sense to you, Anne, as a topic? Okay, cool.
Yep. Oh yeah. So the other couple things that I had added to the agenda, we're just, oh yeah, maybe. We have a couple of kind of presentation-y type things happening in the community. One is at the virtual Ask QC office hours. Misty and I will be presenting a little bit about EMCO. I'll be talking about EMCO generally, and then we'll talk a little bit about this community and what we've been up to, and what Misty's been kind of and their group have been learning at University of Pittsburgh. So that's coming up in March, and then at the SEAL Council on East Asian Libraries annual meeting, there's a pre-conference where there will be a general EMCO like I don't know, summary. So it'll be kind of like work to date, kind of reiterating the purpose. So it may be repetitive for folks, but I'm not sure as to whether that requires full conference registration or anything like that. But just a couple of places for EMCO in the news. And then I think if it hasn't gone out already, then there will be a second call for like folks that want to join. Oh, okay. So you said there's no registration needed. So it looks like people can join that if you're interested. And beyond the EMCO stuff, there's just a lot of really interesting topics, I think. So I'm glad that there is a virtual program component to it. All right, I forgot what I got distracted by. Oh, the second call. Basically, we're just going to see if there are other people interested. And so we may get some new folks in here. Yeah, I forgot Michael was here when we were talking about the website and the references and things. Has Michael,
Yeah, I'm here.
have you introduced yourself or did you just
No,
show up
not
here?
really.
Oh, okay. Well, can I put you on the spot briefly? Michael's,
Absolutely.
I encouraged Michael to kind of join. And so please, Michael, share with us who you are and what you're excited about with this group.
Looks like my camera is not starting, but can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, so I am Michael Phillips, and I am responsible for the WorldCat ontology. So I'm keenly interested in where this conversation is going. I'm very interested in the feedback form. So one of my responsibilities, in the future will be to continue expanding and growing the WorldCat ontology to meet emerging needs. And so I'm very interested in all this feedback. So thanks for having me.
Yes. Instead of me telling Michael what's happening, I was like, oh, if you have time, you could join. So always looking for feedback. I'm really glad we have folks in this group.
Yeah, this
And
is really cool. Sorry, Anne.
please, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, the WorldCat ontology was published, I think, almost 2 years ago at this point, and it's just been kind of out there for some time, and we really haven't yet had this like really robust conversation around, well, what's next? I mean, it doesn't encompass every possible thing you could say about everything in the model. So yeah, I'm happy to be part of the conversation and interested to see how we can grow the model to serve the library community better.
Awesome. Yeah, I think everybody's been sort of looking forward to or dreading, I don't know which one, this linked data becoming a reality. So either
It's a
one.
big lift. It's a lot, that's for sure, but it is exciting.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, thank you for taking time to join the meeting. It's really great.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me. I was in the last meeting, but I was just kind of lurking in the background. just listening, but yeah, I'm happy to speak anytime. And if you have questions, if there are topics regarding the ontology that you'd like me to speak more in depth to, I'd be happy to do that. Just let me know or let Anne know.
Oh, that might be great.
Yeah, definitely. I have thoughts, so yay.
I like thoughts.
Okay, so I think I did a bad job of picking of writing notes, but I will go back to it / we'll ask AI.
Yeah. And the meeting was recorded, so
Yeah.
For once.
We're doing great.
Do we have anything else in the last few minutes, or are we all just kind of setting off to go look at this, take a deep dive into the spreadsheet?
Everyone loves a good form. All right, I think we can end 5 minutes early unless there's any last questions. Going once, going twice. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
folks.
Bye.
Bye.